The Life of Julius Caesar. Hello, everyone. I'll be telling you all about the life of Julius Caesar. Don't you wonder about how he made his way up to become such an important dictator of Rome? Are you curious about how he influenced the Romans and remains such an important figure in our society today? Julius Caesar was born during the summer of 100 BC, having originally been given the name Gaius Julius Caesar. He was born in Suburra, Rome, which was a densely populated city composed of lower-class citizens. He grew up during the Roman Republic. Caesar was born into the Julii clan, composed of patricians who are part of Rome's oldest families, given many privileges, especially concerning politics. Caesar was a part of one of Rome's noble ruling classes. According to legend, Caesar was descended from Aeneas, who was a Trojan hero, and Venus, the god of love and beauty. Aeneas was the son of Venus. Gaius Marius was the uncle of Julius Caesar. Caesar was greatly influenced by politics while he was growing up. When he was 16 years old, he became Sulla's enemy because of his strong political views. Sulla was the ruler of Rome at that time. Another reason of why Caesar became enemies with Sulla was by how Sulla originally was Marius's lieutenant and then turned on him, therefore turning against Caesar. Sulla planned on killing Caesar. Caesar was aware of Sulla's sinister plans and immediately escaped from Rome and became an outlaw for 3 years. Upon his return in 78 BC, Caesar was a lawyer and orator during court. As a young man, Caesar had looked up at Alexander the Great, who was the leader of the Greeks, and found him very inspirational. When Alexander was 30 years old, he had already created a massive empire and held tremendous power. Caesar, on the other hand, was a tribune and part of the College of Pontiffs, which held worship in Rome. He was also an administrator in Spain. He was a famous politician and a good orator, and was known for his Attic style of oratory, which is a very simple style of oratory. It was opposite of Cicero's style, which is Asiatic, meaning that it is very elegant and elaborate. Caesar wrote works on grammar, philosophy, and rhetoric. He wasn't the least bit pleased about the jobs he took on at that time. He had greater goals that he wanted to accomplish, wanted to gain a lot of power, and make a great impact on Rome. Also, while he was proconsul, he conquered many tribes in Western and Northern Europe, the areas that are in the modern world, France, Germany, and Belgium. He invaded Britain and established Roman strongholds in the south. He went to Gaul for 7 years and killed about 1/4 of Gauls. In 63 BC, Caesar became the chief priest of Rome, also known as the Pontifex Maximus. Caesar was in charge of the Vestal Virgins, whose duties were to keep the sacred fire burning in the shrine to Vesta, which symbolized the eternity of Roman rule. This led towards his gain in power. On top of that, in 62 BC, he was praetor for a year, was given some of Spain's land to govern as an award. Before Caesar was consul, he set up the first triumvirate with Pompey and Crassus. A triumvirate is an unofficial group of 3 very powerful men with different connections and skills who work together to accomplish their common objectives. Due to their planning as a group, they all gained military commands, influence, and wealth. Each member of the triumvirate had a specific role. Caesar was the person from the original Roman family. Pompey's role was being the most successful and brilliant general. Crassus's role was being the extremely wealthy Roman. After many years of hard work, in 59 BC, Caesar became consul. The downside was that the other consul Bibulus was his rival. Caesar tried to devise as many ways as possible to reduce Bibulus's power, since he was afraid that Bibulus would limit his usage of power. Caesar tried to outsmart Bibulus by using his oratory to win over the Senate. Caesar's backup plan was to appeal to the common people to do things the way he wanted. While he was consul, he introduced a law that forgave many debts for numerous poor people, but on the other hand made lots of wealthy Romans hate him for losing the money they had loaned. He had also enforced stricter fire codes for the poor people that lived in apartments or small houses. Here is an ambitious task that Caesar planned on doing, but never managed to do. He planned to protect the city of Rome forever from the flooding of the Tiber River by diverting it upstream. He wanted to do this because he wanted to protect the Forum, which was the lowest point in Rome. Caesar was enraged at how the senators made him rule over unworthy pieces of land, such as woodland or fields. Caesar appealed to the assembly of the public and was given Cisalpine Gaul and the provinces of Illyricum. He also gained Transalpine Gaul after the death of their governor. In 58 BC, he left for Gaul, embarking on a journey to conquer new lands and gain wealth for Rome. On his way back from Gaul with his army, Caesar heard that the Senate, influenced by Pompey, was going to arrest him for gathering too much power. That was a bad sign when one of the members of his triumvirate was turning against him. Caesar awaited at the shore of the Rubicon River. An important quote of Caesar was, "Let the dice fly high," he shouted this while crossing the Rubicon River. He then crossed it with his army, breaking an ancient law saying that no Roman army could come south of the Rubicon River. The Rubicon River divided Gaul and Italy, and Caesar was prepared to bring his soldiers across for war. Pompey left Rome and went to Greece with his army. Caesar pursued Pompey and defeated all of his troops. Caesar arrived in Egypt in 48 BC. Some people in Egypt killed Pompey and brought his head to Caesar upon his arrival in Egypt, thinking that Caesar would like them for this gruesome gift. Instead, Caesar felt very sad that his ally had been killed and was said to have wept. He had come to Alexandria demanding money he claimed was owed to him by Ptolemy XII, who had passed away. Caesar asked his son Ptolemy XIII and his daughter Cleopatra to work this debt out. Soon enough, Caesar fell deeply in love with Cleopatra, and the two of them soon became allies and lovers. When Caesar returned to Rome, he instantly became dictator for life. That meant that no one could oppose any of his ideas or anything that he said. Nobody dared oppose him because the Senate was afraid of his immense power he had acquired over his years of success and victory. Caesar had a humongous Roman army which could overpower anyone who tried to turn against him. Caesar's troops loved and admired him, and would look up at him for inspiration. They had a strong connection with Caesar and felt like he was just one of them. Whenever Caesar wrote about his conquests, he gave credit to his troops, especially his officers. Caesar was preparing to invade the Parthian Empire, but was killed less than a week before a scheduled departure because the Roman senators felt threatened by his dictatorship. He was stabbed to death in the Roman Forum by the other senators. His last words were, "Et tu, Brute?" meaning "you too, Brutus?" to his former ally. Julius Caesar died in 44 BC. He unfortunately died a very tragic death. Other interesting facts about Caesar are that he wore a solid baggy purple toga, which was what over-aggressive young men would wear. His greatest skill as a general was speed. He was able to lead his army faster than any other general, probably because he trusted his officers and men. He said that Pompey's biggest mistake was trying to exert too much rational control over his men. Facts about Caesar's personality are that he's down to earth, a womanizer, he was very stern and strong, and known for being merciful to Romans. He was also known to have epilepsy, which were seizures. At that time, Romans thought that he was being possessed by a god-sacred disease. He also had a special devotion to Venus in his own extension of the Forum.